of the things I get most commonly from entrepreneurs where they're like, hey, I feel really good about this life and this manifesting, but my spouse isn't really on board with it. And the thing that I like to remind you that there is always one leader, there's always somebody who needs to lead the way so that you can call in more, so that you can create a bigger vision for yourself. And typically, visionaries and integrators marry each other, and one is a visionary and the other one's an integrator. So the visionary typically is always super optimistic, thinking about the next best thing, the next big idea, where the integrator, maybe sometimes known as the devil's advocate, or is thinking about how are we actually going to execute on this, might be naysaying some of your big ideas. So a couple things. Know that you have a different role in your marriage, and it's likely not the same as your spouse. And the other thing is, if you are showing up as your best version, you're doing the work, you're fixing your mindset, you're understanding the limiting beliefs that you possess, your spouse is going to see that and watch that and want to get on board. And sometimes maybe we've actually married people who aren't right for us, and that's a hard pill to swallow. But for most couples I know, you are supposed to be with your spouse, and we're supposed to bring each other along for the ride. Every time I elevate, I want my husband to elevate with me, and same thing goes for him. Every time he steps up, he's calling me to be a better and bigger version of myself. So use that as your guiding point and something exciting that's happening, and to where one of us are excelling and it's your turn to pull up that other person. The reason I tell you that getting your spouse on board with manifesting and all that woo-woo energy is because they will pull you up when you don't feel super great about it. So I want to tell you about a little story. Kyle and I had went to the Bahamas in 2019, and it was one of our first big trips that we ever took, where we stayed at a nice hotel. We definitely enjoyed the facilities. We went to the pool party. They had a casino, nice dinner spots, everything. And on our last day there, we are in a hurry to get down to the pool, and we had had some cash out from the casino the night before. And so we're leaving the cash on the counter. Kyle changes his shorts, doesn't put the cash back in his shorts, and so it's left there. We get down to the pool, we're ordering lunch, and I'm like, oh, babe, where was that cash at that you had? And he's like, oh, I left it back in the room. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go grab it really quick. I go back up to the room, and the cash is not there. So I guess the housekeepers took it as a tip for them, all $300 of it. And because it was our last day of vacation, because I was tired of paying $50 for chips and guac and a beer, because I was so tapped out, my super energy-rich abundance reserves were starting to diminish. I was thinking about all the work that I had to come back to. I knew we had spent a lot of money on vacation. I started to default back to scarcity. Oh my God, we don't have money. Now we're getting money stolen from us. You guys probably know the narrative that happens for you. And my husband looks at me and he says, babe, I'm excited that we could give that money to those people. They likely need it much more than we do. They likely were so excited, and that's gonna make a big impact on their life. And I'm just super grateful that tomorrow I can go home and make $1,000. I'm super grateful that that $300 no longer is something that I have to be super attached to, because I know that money is infinite. I know that our energy is what allows us to make more money. And because of that, we're gonna go home and crush it. And it's not a big deal. And I just remember in that instant being like, holy crap, thank God I taught him everything that I learned, because he was listening and he was taking it in. And he's not somebody that comments on all of it. He's not somebody that is always tapped into the woo like I am, but he's integrated it, he's applied it. And when I was feeling less than or operating from a place of lack, he was able to pull me up. And that's the beauty of having a powerful partnership like that. Like, you get to pick each other up. You're not always going to be crushing it with your mindset or with your business or with your life. There's going to be peaks and valleys. And when your partner can see you through those and be the one that leads you, it's a beautiful relationship.